And I think he's got a big future. And but as we've always said, the good 2-year-olds are coming out later and later and later.
Well, Jimmy, thank you very much for those comments. And, of course, we've got another race to show you. I hope to be talking to the connections from that race very shortly. But before all that happens, it's time to return to London for the national and international news at 3:50 with Richard Whitmore.
Yes, and the main stories. The IRA have confirmed that the bomb attack in Armagh last Saturday, which killed 3 members of the Hanna family, was intended for a senior judge. But they'd been given the wrong description of his car. The Hannas were killed at Killeen. And this morning, 2 soldiers and 2 police officers were injured when an IRA bomb exploded near the village of Cullyhanna. Border security has been top of the agenda at the latest session of the Anglo-Irish talks in London.
The British and Irish ministers met yet again under the shadow of violent events. This time the talks on security were dominated by the murder at the weekend by the IRA of 3 members of the Hanna family. Social issues were also discussed, but with another bomb attack in County Armagh today, security topped the agenda. Mrs Thatcher is reportedly unhappy with cross-border security cooperation, so when the meeting broke for lunch, how had the talks gone?
Yes, absolutely well. Excellent conference.
The 2 police chiefs, Sir John Herman of the RUC and his Irish counterpart Eamon Doherty, wouldn't comment when they left on either today's incident or the weekend murders.
Britain's balance of payments deficit was just over £1 billion last month. That's better than in May, but worse than the city had expected. The leader of the opposition, Neil Kinnock, said it was a Tory-made disaster.
Part of the rise in imports is due to the expansion of the economy. It's sucking in goods from outside. One sign can be seen at the docks, where the big car-carrying ships have now brought in 13% more foreign vehicles over the past quarter to supply a demand which is expected to produce the highest ever sales of cars this year. Imports of cars in June were up by over £100 million in anticipation of the new F registration sales in August. Another sign of demand is that imports of oil have risen by more than £100 million, though overall we're still exporting more oil than we bring in.
The Prime Minister has criticised proposals from the President of the European Community for a political and economic union of Europe. On the Jimmy Young Show on Radio 2, Mrs Thatcher said the President, Jacques Delors, was over the top. She said a United States of Europe would be impossible, and she dismissed talk of a Central European Bank and a European currency as airy-fairy. The first public telephones operated by Mercury, British Telecom's new rival, have been unveiled at Waterloo Station in London.
The 3 designs, classical, art deco and conservatory, have already been condemned as dated, horrific and visually offensive. But Mercury say the call box displayed at Waterloo Railway Station provide an alternative service to customers. Initially, Mercury will have 26 phones at Waterloo, 400 across the country by spring next year. Their competitors, British Telecom, have 80,000 payphones nationwide, are spending £160 million to modernise their network, and were at Waterloo this morning busily cleaning the boxes closest to the Mercury launch ceremony.
And the next news is on BBC One at 6 o'clock with Nicholas Witchell and Philip Hayden.
Thank you, Richard, for making even the bad news bearable for all these years. I have to tell you that the weather news isn't up to much, at least for tomorrow. But we should all see a little bit of evening sunshine once this afternoon showers, you can see them on the radar, have died away. But there's some pretty hefty showers in places, just missing Goodwood miraculously, and many places will have some sunshine and miss the showers completely this afternoon. This evening, a fair bit of pleasant evening sunshine, but rain, you can see it already, into the southwest of Ireland, coming across many parts of the country during the course of the night. Rain and wind spreading across practically the whole of Britain during tomorrow, with brighter but showery weather eventually getting in to the southwest. Not too warm a day either. That's it.
This is BBC2 for the Midlands. Good afternoon, here's the news and weather with sign language for the deaf. The man accused of killing Stuart Gough, the newspaper boy from Hagley, has appeared again before magistrates in Hereford. Victor Miller had been committed for trial to the Crown Court. He's charged with the abduction and the murder of the boy, and he faces a number of other charges of abduction and attempted abduction. Miller, who comes from Wolverhampton, has already admitted killing Stewart. A dozen motorists will make legal history this afternoon when they're prosecuted with the help of evidence taken by a spy camera. They're accused